Do you want to know when to start disciplining a child? People ask me, when is too early or when is it too late? All the time. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds and child development, as well as education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we are talking about when you can start disciplining a child. I raised 4 children of my own. They're all adults now. And I am now a grandma watching my children discipline their children and teach them and train them and correct them. And it's really exciting to see what they are doing with their families. I also work with families all over the world. I've taught in every continent except for Antarctica because the penguins didn't want to learn self-government. But everywhere else about self-government, and I have been asked the question, is anyone ever too early to learn something or too late to learn something? No, we can always learn. That's part of the human journey. All of us are learners. At any age in our life, we can improve. The definition of self-government, which is what this channel is all about, because this is the Teaching Self-Government channel, is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So what that means is that you understand cause and effect. You understand that you can make a plan for yourself and follow through and course correct if it goes wrong, but that you have a responsibility to actually examine yourself on a regular basis and keep training yourself upright. Now, of course, when the children are young, they need their parents to help train them and support them. We need to be helping set up an environment of self-government too for them. And when can this start? When they're babies. If you have already subscribed to this channel, then you've probably seen the videos of my granddaughter at like 16 months old or something. I can't remember how much she was, but she could self-regulate. She could get herself completely calm, take deep breaths when she was instructed to. She could disagree appropriately, even though she couldn't even form complete sentences. That's possible. When I was raising my children, I didn't start teaching them self-government until they were 2. But my children, they're like, why do we have to wait till they're 2? Let's just teach them now, Mom. I mean, isn't the principle that they can understand more than they can actually tell you? And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, their brains totally know what you're saying. They just can't verbalize it yet because they don't have the dexterity. And they're like, well, then can't we just teach it to them even before they can speak it? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess. So my children have even done better than I did. I love that. I love that, to see that carry on like that. So there are videos here on the channel. You can find them of little Clara learning, baby disagreeing appropriately, baby getting calm or self-regulating. I forget what we called it, but you can watch it happen. When Clara was 4 months old, my daughter and my son-in-law started talking to her about calmness, and they would say, oh, we need to be calm. Let's take a deep breath. And they would blow on her little hand. Deep breath, Clara. So she could feel what a deep breath was. And they would communicate with her in this way so that she could learn what deep breathing was before she could say it or even understand the full concept. She certainly doesn't understand what the act of deep breathing does to your brain and the chemicals in your brain, which is incredibly healthy for getting back to cognitive function. She's just knowing that she needs to do it, and her parents tell her when to do it. Well, she got a little bit older, and they would say, oh, we don't talk like that. When she would whine or cry or complain, they would say, we don't talk like that. Let's take a deep breath. And she would take a deep breath. And then they would say, okay, now say mama. And she would say, mama. And then she would use her little sign language, please. She couldn't say please, but she could do it. And they would say, oh, are you asking nicely for another cookie or for a toy or whatever it is? And she would say, And then they would say, okay, very good at being calm. You can have this. And they taught her that calmness worked for her. They taught her that calmness was the way to communicate. Now, does that mean that my little Clara, who's 3 years old now, never has a tantrum? No. She's 3, cognitively, her brain functions, still very small cognitive prefrontal cortex area of the brain. She still has moments of emotional, dumping that happens, but then guess what happens? They remind her of her skills and she pulls herself right back together. They've got a system set up. She's got her calm down routine, her calm down place. She knows when she needs to do it. She also can be corrected. She earns negative consequences. This has been happening since she was, probably 14 months old, that she's been earning negative consequences. And then before that, she was learning self-regulation. So maybe your main question is, when can my child earn a negative consequence? Usually the consensus is developmentally not until they're about 9 months at the earliest, usually around a year, but 18 months is usually the super happy sweet spot. So with Clara, when she was a baby and not getting calm, did she earn a negative consequence? No. They just taught her about calm. They kept telling her what to do and they stayed calm. And that's the big one, by the way. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you a gift that will help with your calmness, and that might make all the difference for you. Anyway, but they focused on their calmness and talked to her about her calmness. And then as she got a little bit older and she was clearly defying them, and they knew that it was like, oh no, she's just pushing back now. She just has a strong will. Then it was time for her to actually earn a little age-appropriate chore, and for her to actually have a calm down spot, and for her to have a calm plan for how to go from not calm to calm. And I can help you with all of that at teachingselfgovernment.com. Clara, at age 3 now, can talk about anything. She can tell you when somebody else isn't calm, when they need to get calm. She can tell you all the steps to the 4 basic skills, which are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. If I ask her, Clara, how do you disagree appropriately? She would just do it. If I said, Clara, what are the steps to accepting a no answer? She would just tell you. She knows all 4 steps. She can do them. She's known them for a long time. So don't feel afraid to start early with your children. Now, what if you're wondering this question because you have a child that's older and you're wondering if it's too late? It's never too late. Sometimes I brought in children who were 17 years old into my home, and we started with the same place, learning the 4 basic skills, the 5 teaching styles, learning about self-government and self-mastery, and what to do with the cognitive things going on inside of our heads. And guess what? We had incredible success, which is why the BBC came to our home, which is why people asked me to write books, which is why I'm now doing this channel, and I've got the podcast and all the other things. It's just because we knew that it's never too late. So it's never too late for you either as a parent. Maybe you have some behaviors you don't like about you. Maybe you need better self-government for you. People usually find that that's the case. I have a gift for you. On my website, teachingselfgovernment.com, there's something called a Calm Parenting Toolkit. You can have the Calm Parenting Toolkit for free right now if you go to teachingselfgovernment.com. That Calm Parenting Toolkit will give you 10 tools for calmness so that you can start getting rid of some of your bad habits, gaining new, calm, self-government tools to help you navigate even the most rough circumstances with those children. So go to teachingselfgovernment.com. I'll see you there.